program. He's been here ever since. He's eclipsed 1,000 kills. This might be his last ever game at Galen Center. Pacific Palisades native will tee off here at Galen. And he'll get an ace. It's too much off the first serve of the game as they ate up Jose Gomez, and the Trojans strike first blood in the first set.
What a way to start the game off if you're Dylan Klein, putting pressure on Pepperdine early. He leads USC in service aces, now his 25th of the season.
He'll try for another, and he almost gets one, but it buys over the net. Gomez blocked out in front, and it's going to be deflected out of play in favor of Pepperdine. A couple of blockers there for USC, couldn't get it to fall.
Yeah, and blocking, something that Jonathan Winder talked to us about before the game. He said that, of course, USC, the #1 blocking team, that's just something that they were looking to watch out for before the game. Unfortunately for Zampranio, block just trickled out of bounds.
The Serbian Polomak with the serve. And there it is, Sterling Foley, wearing his not usual number, 21 today, gets his first kill as USC retakes a 2-1 lead.
So take a look at the play. Good job to receive on the serve from Klein, and then the setup from Blanchette over to Sterling Foley. And you mentioned that number. It's kind of a funny story. He was so upset after USC lost here against UCLA that he ripped his regular red jersey that has number 12 on it. That's why you see Sterling Foley in 21 tonight.
I think that's for good reason. He tries for another kill, almost gets it. Dug up by Riley, and they say it's in. Never mind. Cole Hartkey almost finds a kill just off the line, and USC with an early advantage.
And Casey, it's a tricky game when you try to play off the lines. Of course, the ball can bounce either.
Pin to serve. Manhattan Beach redshirt freshman is going to get an ace. Too much for Johnny Dykstra, the libero. Pepperdine has its first lead.
7th ace of the season for Jack Chapin as he takes on his brother Andrew's team in USC.
You'd expect at least a couple connections from two local teams. Pepperdine down in Malibu. Blanchette for Roberts. Hit high up in the air by Gomez. A lunge hit by Barnett, kept alive. Barnett again, 3 blockers there for USC. Barnett, and it's too much. Cole Hartkey once again with a good opportunity, but that time no chance for a challenge on that one.
And that was all about the blocks for USC, putting pressure on Pepperdine again and again throughout the rally. Jeff Nygaard loves to send 3 blockers up top, and it's worked out to perfection all season long for USC.
Here's Noah Roberts, honored on senior day as a redshirt junior, academically a senior. Free ball over for USC. Dylan Klein is right there for the kill. Klein time early, and USC back up 1 thanks to the hard hit and the high vert from Dylan Klein.
Take a look at the last point for USC. There was a little bit of a scramble between Dykstra and Roberts as to who was going to get the initial touch, but either way, they were able to figure it out. Blanchette, the go-to guy to set up Dylan Klein for yet another USC kill.
So here's Noah Roberts to serve again. 6'8". And an attempt from Foley to dig it up. Pepperdine continues the back and forth after a great serve recovery from Jacob Riley.
And Casey, we mentioned feeding outside hitters for Pepperdine in the open. That's what they did there. Ryan Barnett on the outside, a guy to watch out for, gets his first kill of the night.
Blanchette to Tompkinson. There's Polomak, and it's blocked out in front. Couple of players in the area for USC, but Parker Tompkinson and Sterling Foley. Foley's going to get credited with the block, and SC and Pepperdine continue going toe-to-toe.
Ball up in the air. Here's the block. 2 defenders, but it's Sterling Foley who's right there, leaps up high in the air to make the block.
Foley will serve. Will he get an ace? No, kept in by Polomak. Lunged ahead and a miscue as Barnett is going to get the kill. Finding the middle as looked like Dylan Klein tripped up a little bit. And once again, Pepperdine responds.
Casey, talk about making something out of nothing. You mentioned that It almost could have been an ace for USC, but what a way for Pepperdine to keep the ball in bounds and set up Barnett for the kill.
It'll be Hartke to serve as he hits it straight into the net. You won't see too many errors from Hartke. He's #1 in the MPSF and the country in kills per set. Very precise player for the Waves.
And you mentioned that he's not a guy that has too many errors, but he's a guy that's aggressive on the serves. 40 service aces, now 79 service errors on the season for Hartke.
Barnett too far. And once again, USC with some good discipline, not touching a ball that was hit far too hard. Trojans up 2. Parker Tompkinson to serve again. And it's going to find the floor as Cole Hartke, get used to that name. He's going to have to do a lot for Pepperdine offensively tonight. Finds the floor.
There's a clean kill for Hartke. Sparked the ball right onto the USC side. Nobody in the area to receive.
Here's Ryan Barnett, also honored today on Senior Day. Foley is going to hit off the hands of Hartke. And Sterling Foley, Avi, with a quick start as the Trojans continue their run here in the first set.
And it was all about the power for Sterling Foley. Casey, you mentioned right off the hands of Hartke, serves the ball right to him. Hartke unable to respond quick enough, and the USC run, as you mentioned, continues.
Blanchette serves. Good attempt from Hartke. They feed Roberts. Riley somehow digs it up. Dykstra to Blanchette in the middle, and Zampronio. His first action of the game puts USC up 3.
Well, you can hear the whistles in the background, Casey. It feels like a playoff game inside the Galen Center right now. Packed out crowd, fast-paced volleyball. These two teams, Pepperdine and USC, going back and forth.
And dare I say, it basically is a playoff game. As a kill there and a hard one from Jose Gomez. But if USC wins today, the Trojans clinch a top 3 seed in the MPSF. There's no way they can get below that. If the Trojans were to win both of them, they'd be essentially top 2 in the MPSF. Pepperdine is playing potentially for the 1 seed. So much is on the line. Probably impossible for USC to get the 1 seed, but never say never, as Zampronio once again takes advantage of a Pepperdine deflection. And the Trojans have found life here in the middle of the first set.
It's the former Bruin Thiago Zampronio in his first season with USC, the crosstown rivals. He has USC's last 2 kills. Trojans up by 3. Great work from Zampronio there.
He won a national championship with UCLA. Trojans are going to want championship level pedigree on their roster, knowing that this is a USC team that hasn't made the NCAA tournament since 2019. Only once under Jeff Nygaard, primed to do it again in 2026. They receive it. Roberts. Deflection from Graves. Gomez blocked out in front. Dykstra to Zampronio. Polomac in the middle, and Pepperdine with a response.
Jonathan Winder talked to us about Andre Polomac before the game, said he's kind of a guy that goes under the water in terms of credit because of the amount of attention that guys like Hartke receive, but he's been an impact player for Pepperdine all year, picks up his 58th kill of the season.
Yeah, Pepperdine returned 4 All-Americans from last season. Polomac not one of them, but like you said, one of the key contributors on this team alongside Barnett, Edey, Hartke, Riley, all All-Americans in 2025. Zampronio to serve again. Well, it's been a back-and-forth first set, and he'll give away a point. Pepperdine will take over on USC's second service error of the game.
Service error is something that have been a little bit of an issue for USC throughout the season. When we talked to Jeff Nygaard before the game, he mentioned first contact volleyball. That's called being good at serves and passes for USC. Service error is something to watch out for on both sides.
Gomez to Klein. Blanchette in the middle for Tompkinson, who just overpowers the opposing side. That's a 7-footer, by the way, and we talk with Pepperdine head coach Jonathan Winder pregame, He said those two middles in Tompkinson and Wesley Smith for USC are two of the most physical middles to match up against in the country. We just saw some of that from Parker Tompkinson, who's already been allowed today for the Cardinal goal. And there's a kill for Barnett. Good response from Pepperdine. Neither team separating early in a game that could very well go the distance.
Casey, it feels like you've mentioned Ryan Barnett's name time and time again all throughout this first set as he picks up his third kill of the night.
He's hitting .333 early in the first set. Blanchette thought he was going to pass it. No, he goes for the kill, and he's going to get it as the Tennessee native plants himself in the middle and puts USC back up 2.
Not the guy that you'd expect to get the kill in Caleb Blanchette, but he picks up his 9th of the season. Known for getting those assists, the setter is. He taps the ball over. Pepperdine didn't seem ready for the response.
Will have to be against Sterling Foley's serve. Barnett pushes middle, and Tompkinson and Blanchette right there to respond. Gonna need a big game from Parker Tompkinson if you're USC. He appears to be everywhere as we're yet to see Wesley Smith check into the game.
And Tompkinson, fresh off his second straight MPSF Moulton Defensive Player of the Week honoree. He's a guy to watch out for, a guy that can block, of course, but we saw him get the kill earlier. He's a two-way threat for USC.
He matched his career high in blocks against BYU with 8, earning him that weekly honor. As Dykstra is going to run out of room, nearly running into the official. And the Waves get a much-needed point to pull back within 2. Hartke will serve. He's been quiet so far. Does have 3 kills, but 2 errors, hitting under .200. Here's Hartke's right-handed serve. Blanchette. Klein tries for the push. Somehow keeps it alive. Barnett's blocked out in front. The deflection will go Pepperdine's way.
And you can block all you want, but sometimes the volleyball is going to roll off the fingertips in the wrong direction, and it's a Pepperdine point.
USC leads the MPSF in blocks per set with over 2.5. Pepperdine right there at number 2. Hartke serve. Blanchette. Klein, not much power, stays alive. Blanchette to Roberts, and he sends that one courtside into the seats. And Pepperdine back on a little bit of a run, tying this one up at 14. And Avi, the back and forth continues. You can feel the nerves in the building.
So the Waves try to chase first place. USC looks to finish somewhere in the top 3.
It appears that we won't have to extend past the first tiebreaker in the MPSF because head-to-head is the first one. If USC were to win out against Pepperdine and UCLA were to lose twice, UCLA would likely still be the first team in the MPSF standings due to the head-to-head record against USC, as Foley's eaten up and Pepperdine ties this one up again. Now on the flip side, if Pepperdine were to beat USC twice, that's a different conversation if the Bruins were to lose out because Pepperdine and UCLA split their 2 games against each other. That one's hit right into the net by Barnett. So the point is, these 2 games upcoming this weekend, tonight and Saturday between USC and Pepperdine, and with UCLA playing BYU, heavy implications on the line. USC can clinch a top 3 spot tonight with a win. Barnett, and it's in. Might have been a deflection, but nonetheless, what a hard hit from Barnett. Lots of
Pepperdine. It would be up to the MPSF committee to pick the tiebreaker winner, but Ryan Barnett certainly making a case tonight for Pepperdine. 4th kill of the night for the Waves outside hitter.
Sempronio blocked out in front. Gomez. They set up Hartke. Great dig from Dykstra, but they can't make anything more of it. Hartke overpowered the back line for USC, and Foley and Dykstra made a good effort, but were also both on the ground.
And it's really been a 2-man show tonight for Pepperdine. Barnett and Hartke, we mentioned them in the open. Those are the 2 guys offensively to watch out for the Waves, and they've been the wave makers tonight for Pepperdine.
Matthew the serve, well out of bounds. We talked about Hartke earlier. Was hitting 143 before the timeout. He's up to 333 to put him up there with some of the leaders so far in this game. But USC will need to get Dylan Klein going. Only 1 kill for the senior, playing likely his final game at Galen Center. He serves out of play.
And Casey, you mentioned the hitting percentage for Hartke, but both teams are hitting the ball exceptionally well right now. It's certainly an offensive showcase here in set 1 as the score shows, but Pepperdine's hitting around 360, USC around 333. These are two teams that continue to make things work offensively.
Sempronio blocked out in front. They set up Barnett. He tags the Big Ten logo, and Pepperdine is starting to pull away a little bit, just a little bit more. And you talked about it. I mean, 14 kills for Pepperdine in this first set, 7 for USC. But yet we're still only in a 2-point game. Sees USC right there. It's been the errors for Pepperdine that has plagued the Waves, as Roberts is blocked by Jose Gomez. He hypes up the bench, and the Waves starting to overwhelm Nygaard and company, as the head coach for USC will use his second timeout of the set.
And the way that point was, that's what we call a momentum grabber at this moment. Gomez leaps up high in the air to block Noah Roberts. You see everybody there on the...
Beats up Riley. Parker Tompkinson continues his big day so far, up to a dig, a block, and 2 kills for SC, as the Trojans are back within 1.
That last point was all about the location from Tompkinson. Ball goes right over to him. He smacks it down off the hands of Riley.
Chapin serves. Give it to Hartke. Klein blocked, and they can't keep it up. They've been containing Dylan Klein pretty well so far. Just because they've done that early doesn't mean they'll do it the entire game, but that's a good sign for head coach Jonathan Winder.
It's certainly been a quiet night for Klein so far, just a kill for him. He was hitting 200 prior to that. Now he's dead even at 0.
Pepperdine will serve again up 2. Jose Gomez, who had a massive block moments ago. Roberts right hand, and the errors continue to add up. That's another swing and a drive from Noah Roberts that goes way too far.
Second time in set 1 that Roberts has served the ball right over there, and location an issue for Noah Roberts so far. Too much power as the ball goes up to him. Can't find a way to keep the ball in.
Gomez off the top of the net. Foley was big early for USC, trying to get some more points. As Barnett's blocked by Roberts, he redeems himself, and the Trojans reach 20 points.
And of course, it was Parker Tompkinson who teamed up with Roberts on the block. Casey, he's been everywhere all night. We take a look at the replay. The set, the fire over to Barnett, and Noah Roberts right there to meet him.
Roberts didn't necessarily have the size advantage either, and he was able to get up and get the point for USC. Riley receives, and it's hit hard in the middle. James Eady, All-American from last season, right in the middle, and Pepperdine 2 points away from the first set.
Not what you usually see offensively out of Pepperdine. You've seen the Waves time and time again in this first set go to their outside hitters, but this time they go middle, and it confuses USC defensively. Eady able to work the kill.
Pepperdine, one of the best serving teams in the country. Here's Toon to serve for the first time. Roberts right off the fingertips of Ford Harmon. And once again, that right side for USC heating up. Trojans aren't going away in set 1.
Well, they certainly haven't gone away throughout much of the season. This is a USC team that's faced quite a bit of adversity. Look, we saw it last weekend in Provo, especially in that Saturday night contest against BYU. 3 different sets where USC was down. They were able to make some runs and get back into the game. That's what they look to do here late against Pepperdine, but that service error certainly not helping.
Not at all. That gives Pepperdine a 3-point advantage, 1 point away from the first set, which will be massive on the road for Jonathan Winder and company. Cole Hartke will serve. Line drive and a free ball. It will go out, and Pepperdine takes the first set.
Final score, but it felt like it blew by quickly. It feels like a boxing match here between USC and Pepperdine. Blow after blow from both sides.
Who will get punched in the mouth in this set? Klein, there he is. They called number one, and he picked up to open up the second set, as Klein gets USC on the board to open up number 2.
And if we want to keep up with the boxing metaphors here, that's the right hook that USC was looking for with Dylan Klein. Just the one kill in set 1, as we mentioned, but he's somebody that needs to heat up tonight if USC wants to grab a set against Pepperdine.
Sempronio the serve. They set up in the middle. Klein just has to free ball it over. And Pepperdine responds. Polomac, who opened up this set with the serve, sets up Edie, and Gomez will serve. Edie's now up to 3 kills on 4 attempts, hitting .750. Dykstra the reception. Tompkinson right there for USC, as the tallest player in Trojan history finds the floor again, and his versatility has been the key so far for the men of Troy.
Yeah, Tompkinson leads USC in kills now with 3. Here is that third kill for Tompkinson. Blanchette the set, Tompkinson the kill. And an underrated part of volleyball are the setters, the guys that get the assists. Polomac has 15 for Pepperdine. Blanchette with just 9 for USC, but it's going to come down to who can set their team up better between those 2 players, Polomac and Blanchette.
Speaking of that, they just set up Barnett well, who evens it at 2. Foley lets it ride out of bounds, a wise decision. And it looks like Jonathan Winder is going to challenge. So another challenge on a ball hit close to the line. This time a serve. We'll send it down to the officials. Sterling Foley just watched the serve from James Edie.
I think what Winder is looking for here once again on his second challenge of the game is whether or not the ball caught the hands of a USC player. Sterling Foley says he did not touch the ball. We'll see if the replay argued otherwise. It was a close call there as the officials talking it over. Ended out to the official score. We might have a quick ruling.
Looks like we do have a quick ruling. You'd expect that maybe off the serve as opposed to in the run of play. I think that might be an ace.
And we have our ruling right here.
How about Jonathan Winder? 2 for 2 on challenges, and his team gives him a bit of a cheering as he wins 2 free points so far. That's a 2-point swing each time as well.
And Casey, not to mention, those are 2 of the tougher challenges that you can make. Seeing on that replay whether or not the ball just clips off the fingertips of a player, but it's worked out twice so far for Winder.
Good response from Sterling Foley. Trojans even up at 3, and this second set is starting to feel a little bit like the first one. You start out back and forth. Which team will separate? It was Pepperdine in the first set. SC looking to go on a run here.
And I'm sure Foley had something to respond about whether or not that last ball on the overturned call hit his hands, and what does he do? He comes back with a point for USC.
And nearly gets an ace, but it looks like Jeff Nygaard is going to challenge it. So both coaches respecting each other, but also letting the officials know that these serves are close, and we're going to have a review. So Sterling Foley on both sides of replay reviews here in the second set. This time he's the server. We'll send it down to the referees. He'll do it again. Riley the reception. In the middle for Barnett. Klein touched the pin, and the point's going to go to the Waves.
It was a superhuman effort from Dylan Klein, the way that he ran up and leapt all the way in the air. You take a look at the athleticism from Dylan Klein. Unfortunately for him, he does catch the pole on the spike, and that means it's a Pepperdine point.
Unlucky for Klein, who had been doing better to start the second set after just 1 kill in the first. He tries for another, dug up by Barnett. Hartke off the hands of Dykstra, and Cole continues his big day up to 6 kills.
And Casey, you have to credit the defensive effort from Ryan Barnett on this play. to dig that ball from Dylan Klein. That very well could have been a Klein kill, but watch Barnett dive in there, just catches the ball before it hits the floor. And then the setup for Cole Hartke, who continues to work.
He'll serve. Dykstra gets it that time. Klein, a slight tap. On the left side for Gomez. The rally continues. Volley. Haven't seen that many long rallies. This is one of them. And it's going to hit into the net. And the point will go to USC on the double hit from Jose Gomez.
Sometimes you have those battles up front at the net, and they can get testy net violations, something to watch out for. In this case, it was Jose Gomez who caught the ball twice, which gives USC the point.
Tompkinson serves too far. That's now 5 service aces for USC, 6 for the Waves. Comparable so far in attacks, but Pepperdine with 18, USC with 12. Pretty much every other stat comparable, but Pepperdine hitting at 343, SC just at 219. A lot of that due to Dylan Klein being quiet so far for USC. Here he is, tries with 2 hands against 3, and he's going to beat 3 defenders. How about a 3v1? And Dylan Klein, the lone man on the USC side, winning the battle.
Now there's a reason he's one of 8 players nominated for National Player of the Year, including Cole Hartke, one of those 8 as well, but only so many players that can make that kind of play up against that defense.
And Dykstra once again can't recover it. There's Ryan Barnett. Talked about him a lot for a reason. He's up to 8 kills, leading all players to none. Noe Matthey will serve. Foley's there. Blanchett. Klein. A cut on the left thumb, no problem. It looks just fine after he buys the kill. We're tied at 7.
Well, it's a good thing Dylan Klein is a righty. Probably wouldn't feel nice if you spiked the ball with the cut on the left hand, but Klein's still able to work out there for USC. Trojans have to find a way to get the ball to Klein, and Klein has to find a way to get past such a staunch Pepperdine block.
One of the best in the country up there with USC. Both teams with plenty of size. Gomez in front of Dykstra. And Jose Gomez up to 3 kills, 2 blocks, 2 digs. He's been just about everywhere so far for the Waves.
It's been a nice night for Jose Gomez, sort of an under-the-radar player for Pepperdine, but he's played his part in today's game so far. You mentioned the stats, Jose Gomez all over the floor.
Roberts off the fingertips of Polomac. And once again, we have a set going back and forth. Fans at Galen Center, even though it's early, are getting their money's worth here in the second set.
Neither team relenting between USC and Pepperdine. There's the set outside for Roberts. When you feed your outside hitters, let them feast. That's the kind of stuff that happens for you. Too much power for Pepperdine.
Hartke blocked out in front. Tompkinson there with Foley and Roberts, but it looked like Parker is going to get credited with the block.
3rd block of the night already for Parker Tompkinson. There's a reason why he's earned back-to-back MPSF Defensive Player of the Week honors.
Said it earlier, but he matched his career high 8 blocks against BYU, had double-digit kills in the second game, showing his versatility as the serve too far from USC. The errors stacking up for both teams on the serve. SC now leading, rather both teams tied in service errors at 6. Here's Jose Gomez. He's had an impact at the net and behind it. Blanchett to Roberts, flicks it over 2 defenders, and Noah gets his 3rd kill. We'll send it sideline to Pickle Coleman, who has an update. Pickle.
Thanks, guys. USC now up by 1 here. And when I spoke with USC head coach Jeff Nygaard pregame, he spoke about when they were struggling last week against BYU and what they kind of did to come back. He mentioned that they were too focused on what the other team was doing. And tonight specifically, they need to be present, execute their systems, and said, quote, they need to get out of their heads and into their bodies. And that is something they are working to do as they work to come back in this second set here, now tied up at 10. Back to you, Casey.
Yeah, you said it. And before that loss against BYU, USC had won 10 straight matches after 2 big wins over Stanford. Heading into that Stanford 2-game set, And we're going to have another challenge here. And Winder puts down the card. It looked like he was going to serve up the challenge. That's not the case. As I was saying, USC had won 22 straight sets. As it hits off the side of Polomac, his shoulder, and it goes out of play. So a little frustration from Pepperdine after not getting the call they wanted, but they don't reserve to use the challenge.
And I think with Winder on the challenge, it looked like he was more so ready to use it had that ball been ruled a USC point, but it ricocheted off the hands of a Trojan, and because of that, Pepperdine earned the kill. He got to put the challenge card away.
Hartke misfires. And USC back up by 1. You got to force Cole Hartke to make mistakes. That time, he makes a mistake under his own power, and USC gets a free point out of it.
And it's not the sort of mistake that you'll usually see Cole Hartke make, if any, but the ball spins the wrong way, catches the top of the net, and falls back into Pepperdine's side.
How about another service ace from Sterling Foley, who has been so impressive at the service line in this game so far. 2 aces for him in this set. He'll do it again. A crucial moment for USC on a 3-0 run. A chance to extend the advantage. Here's Foley. That time it's out. Not a hard call for the officials, and Pepperdine squeaks back within 1. Hartke will serve. It's been big today, 7 kills, 14 attempts, only hitting .214. He's quieted down a little bit in this second set after a big first. Over from Dykstra. They set up Hartke, and Dykstra shouldn't have touched it. Instantly regrets it, and we're all tied up at 13.
Well, Dykstra was mad at himself. He knew he should have let that ball go out, but a tough break for Johnny as he touches the ball. We take a look at the replay. Power on the spike from Hartke. Goes over to Dykstra. He's unable to pull his hands back in time, sort of like a batter with a checked swing, and because of that, it's a Pepperdine point.
Dykstra just barely sets up Klein. Roberts has to hit it over. They set up Hartke again, off the fingertips. Cole Hartke coming alive in the second set. Pepperdine up 1, and USC struggling to create an offensive rhythm here in this second set, allowing Pepperdine to be 1 step ahead.
Well, the Trojans won on a 3-0 run, and it's Pepperdine now who's on a 3-0 run of its own. 2 of those points coming from Cole Hartke.
And he'll serve. Tompkinson blocked. You don't see that too often. And how about Ryan Barnett? 6'5" against 7 feet tall. And Pepperdine has been the better team so far.
Well, both teams look to set the tone ahead of Saturday's matchup, and so far it's been Pepperdine who's been doing that. Our 2 outside hitters, Cole Hartke and Ryan Barnett, both 9 kills apiece for them.
Dylan Klein with a response. After a 4-0 Pepperdine run that spanned into a timeout, Klein gets his 5th kill, his 4th of the set, nearing his average for the season of 4.5%. SC back within 1. Parker Tompkinson tees it away. Gomez right there. They set up Barnett. Who gets the point? Off the deflection. And that's now 2 points over the last 3 sequences for Ryan Barnett.
And the 1-2 punch of Hartke and Barnett continues. Only so much Dylan Klein can do against these 2 offensively for USC, but you know that one of them is going to get to you, and that time it's Barnett on the outside.
As he hits a line drive to Dykstra, and another service ace from Ryan Barnett. But the referees say, hold on a minute.
So let's take another look at what happened. It appeared that it was a service ace from Barnett. Ball hits off the hands of Dykstra and goes out into the crowd. Referees think that they caught something. Winder's not very happy, but we haven't seen the challenge card yet.
That's going to be interference by someone on the sideline, it appears. They take the point off the board. That is a very odd situation. And it is a 2-point swing now, potentially more, because Dylan Klein gets the kill.
And I believe that interference could have been from when the ball came out after Dykstra touched it, because there was somebody sitting on the sideline that pushed the ball away. I'm not sure if the referees had ruled it a dead ball or not at that point, but either way, it doesn't go Pepperdine's way.
Hartke over. Klein again, and he finds the floor. Couple of... We'll see if it matters for Pepperdine. Up 2 in this second set. Up 1-0. Here's Zach Chapin, brother Andrew on the other side for USC. We've seen both of them come in and serve so far in this game. Redshirt freshman delivers with the left hand. Blanchette to Klein. Hits it diagonally, but not over. And Pepperdine back up 3 and in control.
Sometimes when you move to the outside, those angles can be tough for you, and if you can't put the ball over, it can hurt you, as it did right there. Klein sends the ball straight into the net instead of over into the other line.
Chapin once more, the southpaw lets it go. Blanchette, Klein once more. That time he gets it. Big point for Dylan Klein, who is kind of doing everything right now for USC, and they need him to.
And it's been interesting. Dylan Klein has played better after he cut his thumb than he did when he was fully healthy, but he had that injury for a second, had to come out of the game and tape his finger, and ever since then, he's been on comeback mode for USC as they look to chase Pepperdine down here in set 2.
Bit of a wake-up call in the middle as James Eady, who's been a little quiet today, but always a big contributor for Pepperdine, gets his 4th kill. Still no errors for Eady, hitting 800 as he has some of his first action since the first set.
And Casey, what's been interesting for Pepperdine, only 4 players have had kills tonight for the Waves. Barnett, Hartke, Gomez, and then Eady, of course, who got that last point for Pepperdine.
As Zampronio gets the kill there. To your point, USC has 6 different players with kills. It's been a little bit more evenly distributed. Klein with 8 to lead all Trojans. Andrew Chapin the serve. Free ball for Foley. There it is. Sterling, silver. And the Trojans are back within 1 at the tail end of the second set.
5 kills now in the match for Sterling Foley. He's been such an impact player all throughout the season for USC. We talked in the open about how the Trojans have to play around the entirety of the team and not just through Dylan Klein, and one of those go-to guys, Sterling Foley, getting the job done.
A big 9th serving error for USC right there. Pepperdine 4 points away from taking a commanding 2-set lead. Gomez, the old reliable, will serve. Foley again, and he'll get another. Sterling Foley with 6 kills, no errors. He's picked up the slack in this second set, and we're back to a 1-point game. Man, what a set so far in this second one.
And it's really been a 2-on-2 battle here between Dylan Klein and Sterling Foley of USC and Cole Hartke and Ryan Barnett of Pepperdine. These two duos going back and forth at each other offensively.
And once again, a serving error from USC. You mentioned it earlier, that's been a struggle for the Trojans. Noah Roberts, a little too far that time, and the Trojans are in double-digit serving errors to Pepperdine 6. Aiden Toon will serve. Another guy who's honored on senior day. High up in the air, he lets it go. Klein, the reception. Foley again, not as much power on that strike. Barnett to Klein, and Dylan couldn't dig it up. Pepperdine in control, up by 3, and we'll see a timeout by Jeff Nygaard.
And that was such a powerful shot there for Pepperdine that even Jonathan Winder was fired up on the sidelines. He was screaming after.
Trojans can come back in this game. They'll clinch a top 3 seed in the MPSF. But we'll need a lengthy comeback to this point to do that. Not totally home free yet, Pepperdine, though, as a serving error from Toon and nearly took the head off of Dylan Klein. The Trojans are back within 2.
And Casey, it was an intelligent play from Dylan Klein to duck away from the ball instead of trying to receive. You see the serve right there from Toon. Klein had to juke to his left and make sure that he didn't catch any piece of that ball. Good decision, makes it a 2-point game.
There's Hartke. He's blocked. They set up Tompkinson. And just like that, the Trojans have capitalized on back-to-back plays, are back within 1. And we're going to see a timeout from Jonathan Winder.
We see a lot of these late rallies from USC when they're down in sets. Parker Tompkinson makes things work as he picks up his 4th kill of the night and forces Jonathan Winder to call a timeout. And now if you're Pepperdine, you have to figure out how to close this set out strong.
Barnett wins it back to Hartke. He's blocked by Klein. He keeps it up. Klein blocked in front, but it doesn't matter as Hartke couldn't keep a precise angle on the ball, and we're knotted up at 23 toward the end of the second set.
And again, you mentioned the point that was taken away from Pepperdine on the interference. It's come up big here as we're tied at 23. That time on the block, the ball did not land in Pepperdine's spot. One out of bounds, and here we are, a new ball game.
Fantastic serve from Sterling Foley, but Pepperdine recovers. Massive point with Cole Hartke primed to serve. We'll take another look. Not a bad serve, a bit of a line drive, but again, USC coughs up a point.
Trojans unable to get to the ball. Here's the biggest point of the game.
Hartke. What a serve! My goodness, Cole Hartke. Ice in his vein. Hartke up to 10 kills. He's in double figures. As the serve goes far from Andre Polomak. It's now 2 waves in double figures. USC yet to have a player reach double figure kills. Klein with 9.
And as we saw the service error there for Pepperdine, Casey, something I want to mention was the amount of service errors from USC, 10 in the last set. If you take away both teams' service errors, USC would have led in set 2 over Pepperdine, but because of all those service errors, it's 3 points to the other team, and Pepperdine able to take the set.
And it's not to say that all the serves have been bad. USC has had some close ones. Pepperdine has had good discipline, though, letting the close ones that are out stay out, as that's going to be a service ace. How about Jose Gomez, who's had a scrappy game, the best way I can describe it so far. And once again, a service ace for the Waves. Mark that 6.
It was sort of a late call there from the line judge, but Pepperdine certainly knew that they got the ball in as they pick up the service ace.
This is a Pepperdine team that's very good at serving, as Pepperdine concedes a point there, USC responding. The Waves average 2.14 aces per set. They're averaging 2 so far in this game, but still, we're at the beginning of the 3rd set. This has been one of the best serving games all season for Pepperdine. Connell the serve. Hartke blocked in front. He keeps it up, but it's going to be a net violation as Pepperdine once again gives up a point on a mistake, and we'll see another serve from Connell.
Looks like it was too many touches that time on Pepperdine's part. Waves not able to get the ball out in time, and because of that, USC picks up the point.
They set up Gomez, and Parker Tompkinson is right there. Make that 6 blocks for Parker. His career high is 8. He made that 7-foot frame present in the middle.
And we talked to Jeff Nygaard about just how great Parker Tompkinson has been up front. And he told us that Parker is a student of the game. He said, don't let that 7-foot frame fool you. He's a guy that watches a lot of film, that makes those adjustments in practice, and we've seen it with how effective he's been on the blocks over the last 2 weeks.
Impressive stuff from Barnett. who's now up to 12 kills, hitting over 350. So that ends the 3-0 scoring run for USC. James Eady will serve. Blanchette right there. Sets up Connell. No signal yet, and the point will go to Pepperdine on a ball out of bounds. USC's hitting the ball hard, just not necessarily finding the brown part of the hardwood. Volley again. Did he get a deflection? No. Once again, USC hitting the blacktop. Pepperdine up 2.
Waves on a 3-0 run right now, and 2 of those points on attack errors from USC.
Blanchette for Tompkinson. Almost too much, but Dykstra down to his knees. Foley, they slow it down with the deflection. They want Hartke. They give Hartke. He tries for one. And Foley right there to finish it off a hard-fought and spirited play between both teams. That's what you need if you're USC to end the 3-0 run.
It's been a great night for Sterling Foley. Feels like whenever Dylan Klein is out of it, Foley comes in and does his part. 8 kills on the night for him, just 1 behind Klein with 9, but Foley hitting at 500.
It's up to 8 kills as well, 1 behind Dylan Klein. Barnett, precise placement. And that's what we've seen all day from Ryan Barnett. What the stat sheet won't show you is his ability to just place it right between the lines. He's done that all night.
And you talk about hugging the lines. That is about as close of a spot as you can get. Nobody able to get to the ball. Perfect placement from Hartke.
Hartke close to an ace. Let's see if they challenge it. The whole team wants them to. That's impressive stuff from the head coach.
And I love that shot that we just captured on the screen of Winder on the sidelines, because he was all smiles during that challenge. Went back straight into his game face as soon as the ball was about to be served. That's just the way that these two coaches work. But 3 for 3 on challenges. And guess what? You still have 2 remaining if you're Pepperdine. Those can be huge late in the stretch. You're up 2 sets to 0, but of course, this is an important ball game. Anything can happen here in the match.
Considering how close that last set was, huge stuff from the head coach. As right there, Noe Matthew, who's been in and out of this game as a starter, gets another point for Pepperdine. And once again, the Waves have fed off the momentum from the head coach. It feels like every time they win a challenge, they've been able to respond even more.
Matthew's somebody that was highly touted by Winder before the game. We talked to him about those impact players aside from Hartke and Barnett, and the first name he was quick to mention was Noe Matthew. He talked about how Matthew was hurt for Pepperdine earlier in the season, but ever since he's come back, Noe Matthew has had a massive impact for the Waves.
And a float serve from Blanchette goes out. It's now 11 serving errors for USC. Pepperdine does have 9, but in a much more comfortable position. We'll see another serve from Matthew. Pepperdine well in control of this game. Has not been a fully dominant game from Pepperdine. The Trojans have stuck with them, but 2-0 set lead on the scoreboard reflects Pepperdine stout play so far, and Dylan Klein will be in double figures. That's his 10th kill, his first in a while. The Trojans regain the serving privileges.
So there's the 10th kill of the match for Dylan Klein as he's able to work the ball off the hands of Hartke, and now for Dylan Klein, his 80th career match in double-digit kills.
Gomez too far. Just like that, back-to-back points from USC. We've seen the Trojans get 1 point, and that turned into 3 or 4. Would need a run like that here. And this is the guy you want serving. Klein, a deflection off the back of Hartke, who wasn't ready for it. And we're all tied up on the Dylan Klein ace, his second of the game.
Klein puts USC on a 3-0 run. 2 of those points coming from Klein himself. And Casey, I'm sure Dylan might be a little frustrated at himself for the slow start in set one, but he's certainly making an impact over these last 2 sets as he picks up back-to-back service aces and forces Jonathan Winder to call timeout.
Dillon is climbing and dining at Galen. 11-10 USC on a 4-0 run. Likely the last home game of the season. The Trojans could host an NCAA tournament game. Not entirely likely. Up in the middle as Pepperdine ends the run. James Eady right there. And back to that home record. USC is 13-2 at Galen Center. So to be down 2-0. Granted, Pepperdine, a fantastic team. This is still a shock for these home fans. Blanchette. Foley blocked by 3, out of play. Point to USC.
Okay, so you mentioned those 2 losses at the Galen Center. It was back-to-back losses here, UC Irvine and UCLA. Since then, it's been a great go of things at home for USC, but as you mentioned, certainly a shock, as it looks like we have another challenge.
I don't think anybody's shocked that Jonathan Winder is using a challenge. He's 3 for 3 on the game. They don't report what the season stats are for a coach's challenging abilities. But if this is your first time watching Pepperdine, you'd have to assume that Jonathan Winder wins a lot of challenges. He's 3 for 3 today. Trying to see if Pepperdine can swing a point back in the Waves' favor after the point went to USC on the kill from Sterling Foley on the failed block attempt at the bottom of your screen for the Waves.
We mentioned as well how Jonathan Winder loves to challenge. Earlier against Hawaii, he had 8 challenges against those 2 games already, his 4th tonight. We'll take a look at what happened. I believe this may have been ruled a net violation on the 3 Pepperdine blockers. But it could be an out-of-bounds challenge. It will be an out-of-bounds challenge. And the question is whether or not it stayed in. Didn't look to me that any of the
10. He's hitting over 500, up to 10 kills, and he's been the reason why USC is in this game.
And again, it's been the back and forth between Klein and Foley and Barnett and Hartke. These 2 duos continue at it. Feels like we've been calling those 4 names all throughout the night.
Here's Christian Connell. Barnett, and that's going to hit the pull. USC back up 2 at a critical point as the Trojans are playing a bit more patient now and seeing the results come their way.
Let's take a look at the replay. Just a little bit too much power as Barnett smacks the ball right square into the pole. But okay, so you mentioned the back and forth between these 2 teams. Yes, Pepperdine took both sets, but it wasn't until the very end of sets 1 and sets 2 that Pepperdine got the job done to knock off USC. These 2 teams have been going at it all throughout the night, and although the scoreboard is in Pepperdine's favor, it's not the full story here at the Galen Center.
James Eady with the kill. Still only 5 Waves with kills so far today. Blanchette. A high setup for Connell, but he can't get it over the net. Christian Connell emerging from the black part of the court on the backside. All tied up at 14.
Another look at the play. Connell tried to get the ball over the block, but instead powers the ball square into the net.
Tompkinson too far. See if Jeff Nygaard wants a look. Looks like he will look at it. Tells his assistant coaching staff that he wants to challenge, and we're going to see another. Was the ball in or out is the question. That's a big call. They're all big calls, but especially right now.
And Nygaard was very eager to challenge the play as we take a look at it here. The question is whether or not the ball stayed in. Looks like on our end that it very well is inside the wood, which would overturn the call, and that would be huge for USC because instead of being down 1 in the set, you'd go up by 1, and with the back and forth nature of this game and USC already down 2 sets, this is an important point as any if USC wants to rally and try to win the game in the reverse sweep.
And since USC has given up back-to-back points heading into what could be a big call here, we'll see what it is. So Jeff Nygaard wins another challenge. There might have been a deflection as well, but the ball was well within the lines. Thanks to our replay crew for that look. So SC has the lead. Sterling Foley, who's been a serving light all game for USC, will tee it away. 10 kills for the sophomore. Riley the reception. They give Hartke. He's blocked. Barnett. Riley again. Hartke. He's blocked out in front, but it's out of bounds. Good effort from USC as it was pinballing between Riley, Hartke, and Barnett.
Three-way show there between those 3 players. You see the back and forth of the ball. Klein went up for the block, but was unable to make anything of it as it went out of bounds.
Hartke will serve it away. 11 kills for him. Blanchette to his left. Klein up high, and yes, he gets it down. Dylan Klein hadn't had a kill in quite some time. He's up to 11 now. Second in the game behind Ryan Barnett, tied with Hartke with 11. Parker Tompkinson, too far. That call a little bit clearer for our referees. And Pepperdine earns a point. That's now 12 service errors for USC. Ryan Barnett with the serve. Blanchette, they feed Klein. Hartke sets it up to Gomez. Brad Pan now in the game. He gets the dig. Klein off the back neck of Polomac. And it's been all sorts of theatrics and bags of tricks from Dylan Klein to earn points today.
Casey, I didn't know it was possible to see a posterizer on a volleyball court, but we got it right there. That's about as close to that as you can get. Dylan Klein leaps up in the air and slams the ball down on the neck of Polomac for a point.
They want Foley. Now Klein, he's blocked. Pan keeps it up. Both teams feeding their main contributors. Gomez. The rally continues. Hartke, not a great showing, and he's going to pay. A little too much for Hartke. That gave USC the time to roll up to the net and now take a 2-point advantage at a critical moment late in the third set.
And I'll tell you what, this is all about the reception from the libero, Brad Pan. If he didn't get to that ball in time and receive the power of Hartke, this would have been a different story on the play. And instead, Pan able to keep the ball alive for Klein, who pushes it over. As the referee, or rather the line judge, has issued a yellow card against USC.
Tensions flaring a little bit. Looks like Jeff Nygaard not happy with his bench. Kind of came over to the front of it as we saw the yellow card. Hartke's going to get a deflection and a point. Good response from number 10 after USC went up 2. Told Zach Chapin serve. Yet to record anything on the stat sheet, but he served a few times for Pepperdine. Blanchette to his left side, Foley there. Back to Gomez. Where did it land? And it's going to go out. And Jeff Nygaard not happy with the call. He storms to our referee for his last set, playing it Galen Center after 4 seasons at USC. Depending on what happens. Gomez off of Klein, and it goes out.
A powerful smack of the ball from Gomez. Ball ricocheted off of Klein and came our way. And that just shows how hard that ball was hit. We take another look at the replay here. Gomez sends that ball square into the shoulder of Klein.
Kind of giving Dylan a taste of his own medicine. He does that a lot off the sides of players. Seen that a couple times today. Blanchette. Volley. He's blocked and it's out. Another potential close call, but they'll give the point to USC. Trojans up 1, down 2 sets to none. Pepperdine looking to make it 3 straight wins, heading into a big one on Saturday. Good placement from Hartke. Knowing he didn't have to hit it too hard, but just off the fingertips and out of play. A reminder that if Pepperdine can sweep USC in 2 games, meaning winning both of the next 2, including tonight, and UCLA drops one against BYU, Pepperdine will be first in the MPSF. If both teams win out, then we got to get to tiebreakers. So there's a service error. And once again, USC just hanging on by a thread. Christian Connell to serve. Riley's there. Barnett, perfect placement. And Ryan Barnett does what he's done all game, and that's keep it just inside the margins.
Risky play for Ryan Barnett. That's about as close of a margin as you can get between the ball staying in bounds or traveling the other direction, but Barnett able to put it in such a perfect position to pick up his 14th kill of the night and tie us at 21. Pepperdine looking to close things out.
If Pepperdine wins tonight, the Waves will clinch a top 2 spot in the MPSF. The Waves have never finished top 2 in the MPSF under Jonathan Winder. Last time the Waves were top 2 in the MPSF, 2019 under David Hunt, when the Waves ended up winning the conference, and now they're 3 points away from winning this one. David Hunt only coached for 5 seasons at Pepperdine, fighting back alumni that care so much about this Pepperdine team. Barnett. Hartke wants it. He's blocked. They want Hartke again. And he thought he had the kill. Pan somehow keeps it up. And the point is going to go to USC. I'd be surprised if we don't see a challenge here. And we're going to see one. Jonathan Winder on the pancake dig from Brad Pan that the entire Pepperdine team thought hit the ground.
It was an unbelievable effort by Pan to get to that volleyball, but with the challenge, all of this could change. If this gets overturned, we take another look at the action. Here's the play. Hartke sends the ball out over to Pan, and the question is whether or not it hit the floor before he was able to get it. Hard to tell from this angle. You can't really see where that right arm is, but this yet another close challenge, and at such a crucial point in the game as Pepperdine looks to shut out USC and win in straight sets.
Winder 3 for 4 on challenges. We'll take another look. So Hartke with the kill attempt. I think Pan got to it potentially.
Quick
See the
ruling.
official word. Big point for USC. We're all tied up at 22. And what makes volleyball unique is every challenge in some way or another is a 2-point swing. You either take a point off the other team's line and you gain 1, or vice versa. And that's what USC does there. Instead of 23-21 Pepperdine, which the Waves thought it could be, we're all knotted up at 22. Sterling Foley, the guy you want serving right now if you're USC. He's got 2 aces today, 12 kills, hitting .579. And he muffs it up. A big point conceded by USC as Pepperdine stands 2 away from a sweep. And we're going to see a timeout taken by Jeff Nygaard to regroup. USC cannot afford many more mistakes. Blanchette to Klein. Hartkey, is anyone going to get it? Yes. Riley there, but it's a free ball. And now USC has the advantage. Klein finds home. We're tied at 23. It took a free ball and then a solid offensive sequence from USC. And the Trojans aren't done with this one.
Just like set 2, here we are 23-23 in set 3. And just like the last set, once again, it's been Dylan Klein who's led the way for USC. As he ties us up and the pressure's on for both teams. Jonathan Winder knows that. He needs to talk things over and figure out a way to...
Who's a serving specialist. It's a good one. Hartkey. Klein does just enough, and USC is a point away from taking a set.
Massive point for Dylan Klein, especially because now the pressure's on Pepperdine here, down by 1 to get things done. Slams the ball straight through onto the other end, and Pepperdine unable to receive.
Pepperdine hasn't been in this position all game. A series of free balls, and Pepperdine responds. Barnett in the middle on a messy sequence for both teams, but Barnett there to clean it up.
And it was almost a win in set 3 for USC on a service ace from Klein, but the ball caught the top of the net. Waves just able to react in time and keep the ball alive, and because of that, they're able to find a way to grab the point. And now here we are in extra points. A reminder that you need to win by 2 points to take the set here in extra points.
Ryan Barnett leads all players with 15 kills. He will serve, hitting .400. 15 kills, 5 errors, 25 attacks. 1 serving ace so far, 2 digs and a block for Barnett. They give him the green light. Ryan Barnett tees it off. Fan right into the net. Unexpected from Ryan Barnett, and now USC back in front.
As you said, Casey, not what you think you would see out of Ryan Barnett tonight. Hitting .400, 15 kills, but a crucial service error, and again, the pressure's on Pepperdine.
Barnett there. Hartkey. Pan over and out. The set will continue. All knotted up at 25 as Brad Pan, who has completely replaced Johnny Dykstra in this game, isn't able to keep it in bounds.
Well, neither of these teams know how to back down. One team goes up by a point, the other finds a way to respond.
Pan's right there. Klein with 2 hands. They want Gomez. He deflects it to Pan. Blanchette to Klein. He's blocked in front. James Eady showing Dylan Klein. And he's in the way, and Pepperdine back up to match point.
And this is a major point because for the first time since we were tied at 23, the pressure is now on USC with Pepperdine up by a point.
And another mistake serving-wise for Pepperdine as Noe Matthew hits it into the twine, and we're once again tied. Dylan Klein will serve. Was just rejected on a kill from Pepperdine. Now has a chance to serve it away. The senior hits it to Gomez. Hartkey. Pan right there, but it hits the top of the net and falls in the wrong direction for USC. Unlucky, as Pan would have been right in the right position and Pepperdine is back a point away.
Certainly a tough break. I don't think Pan expected the ball to fall like that. Sort of slipped there on the center of the court.
Polomac. Blanchette. Foley, he's blocked by Hartke. Blanchette. Connell keeps USC alive. Maybe an unsung hero for USC. Getting USC the biggest point so far as Zampronio will serve.
And the way these extra points have gone, it feels like we might play an entire another set here. Neither of these teams willing to back down.
Zampronio. Just a slight tap for Edie. And it's wide right from Connell. Man, he was close. He almost had another kill after the one on the previous play. And once again, we're up to match point for the Waves.
Connell not happy with himself after the play, bit his jersey in disappointment. Another close play on the lines, but he's unable to keep it in. And again, the pressure's on USC. Pepperdine 1 point from winning this.
Jose Gomez, the serve. Dylan Klein blocked, and the game. Set 3, call it set million as Pepperdine.
Không phải, đây là đại năng của tỷ thì, điều này sao có thể? Nguyên tới đây, ta là thái âm thánh tử, phụ thân ta là thái âm thánh trụ, nếu ngươi dám động đến ta, thái âm thánh điện sẽ không tha cho ngươi đâu, thái âm thánh điện. Thứ rác rưởi này, cũng dám xưng thánh địa ư, tất cả quỳ xuống cho ta. Sư phụ. Tỉnh rồi sao? Vừa hay để ngươi xem. Kẻ nào dám ức hiếp người của ta, chỉ có một kết cục. Tiền bối thà nặng, tiền bối thà nặng à. Tiền bối đều là thánh tử sai khiến cả. Cậu cắn người, chủ nhân phải chịu đòn. Cậu đang phải chết. Đây chính là chiếc sinh thủ trong truyền thuyết, sư phụ lại có thể xông thạo thần thông tiên giới này. Một tu sĩ hóa thần kỳ lại bị sư phụ ngôi trưởng đánh cho tan thành cho bụi. Đây chính là thực lực chân chính của sư phụ sao? Thật quá mạnh mẽ. Ba bái sư quả nhiên không sai. Đừng giết ta, ta là thái âm thánh thể, ta còn có đại số, ta nguyện làm cẩu săn cho ngươi. Giết ngươi, ngươi cũng xứng sao, để ta ra trưởng thứ hai. Chủ tử của các ngươi rằng con trai hắn sẽ phải ở đây đổ vô hàng đêm. Nếu hắn muốn cứu người thì hãy tự mình cút đến đây, dập đầu nhận lỗi. Vâng, vâng. Đồ nhi, hai tiểu tạp chủng này vi sư để lại cho con, để cho con sao? Thù này con phải tự tay báo. Nay, tu vi của hai tiểu tử này đã bị vi sư phong ấn rồi. Giờ đây, chúng chỉ là phàm nhân, vi sư sẽ dẫn chúng về làm nô. À phải rồi, khi nào con nhớ ra thì cứ đánh chúng phải roi cho hả giận. Đợi khi nguôi giận hãy giết chúng, cũng chưa muộn. Sư phụ, ngươi vì muốn rảnh rũa tâm rồi. Đức Ý Vệ phái đến Thanh Vân Thành, chỉ còn một người trở về. Thánh chủ thần ạ, thánh chủ thần ạ, chuyện gì đã xảy ra với thuyền trưởng lão đâu? Đi của ta đâu? Vì sao chỉ có một mình ngươi trở về, không còn ai nữa? Tất cả đều đã mất rồi. Quỷ thủ trưởng lão đã bị chủ nhân. Còn đám quán vô nhân kia mua một cái thành trống, không còn chút được với cái gì. Một trưởng đánh chết tu sĩ hóa thần kỳ. Hắn rốt cuộc là cảnh giới nào? Hắn thật đáng sợ, cực kỳ đáng sợ.
Băng làm nữa ơi.
Món thịt dê này thật tuyệt. Béo mà không ngấy, tan chảy trong miệng. Xem ra mảnh đất sau núi kia không chỉ phong thủy tốt, và lại ngay cả cỏ cũng thơm hơn những nơi khác. Nếu sư phụ ưng ý, sau này việc chăn dê, nuôi heo hãy giao cả cho Diệp gia chủ. Ta thấy lúc nãy khi vắt cỏ heo, bước chân hắn vững vàng, động tác thuần thục, nhìn là biết có tố chất làm nông. Quả thật, một gia chủ đường đường lại có thể vác cỏ heo với khí thế như ra trận. Quả nhiên là bậc tài năng. Kẻ ấy đã hết lòng như vậy, chẳng lẽ lại bảo đại ư ban cho hắn một lồng bánh bao nóng hổi vừa ra lò. Sư phụ nhân từ. Ca ca áo trắng, Vinh đi chậm quá vậy, chậm như rùa bò. Ôi chao, tổ tông nhỏ của ta ơi, hai cái vô này quả thật quá nặng. Có thể nghỉ ngơi một chút không? Nghỉ ngơi. Nhưng sư phụ đã dạy rằng phải hoàn thành công việc mới có thịt mà ăn. Nếu ngươi không làm xong, ta sẽ chẳng có thịt mà ăn. Nếu ngươi khiến ta không được ăn thịt, ta sẽ dùng đùi gà lớn mà gõ vào đầu ngươi, gõ cho ngươi biến thành chuột chuỗi. Chạy đi như một con vịt vậy, cạp cạp cạp. Này, cánh tử, diệt quỷ trưởng lão, cánh tử, sao người cũng vào đây? Đừng nhắc nữa. Mà biết ta ở đây đổ bô chắc chắn sẽ tức chết mất. Xem ra vẫn là lão phu may mắn hơn, ít nhất là phải làm việc.
Vô ngại chỉ bật đây bằng này.
Đại trưởng lão.
Này.
Cánh tử, ta hiểu rồi. Đây là một khai học gia tập ư? Ta học cái lão gia nhà ngươi, mau đi cho heo ăn đi. Ôi chao, chậu cây này sao lại mọc ra mặt người vậy, lại còn biết nói nữa. Ca ca áo trắng, ngươi nói ta có nên tưới một chút nước tiểu để bón phân không? Không, đừng tưới nước tiểu. Nhưng sư phụ từng nói cây cối phải bón phân mới lớn lên mà. Tổ tông nhỏ ơi, ta là cây cảnh, chẳng phải cây trồng không cần bón phân. Chư vị hãy lắng nghe đây. Cô thử hát hôm nay. Không biết bữa tối nay chúng ta có được no bụng hay không? Tất cả hãy dốc hết 12 phần tinh thần ra. Vâng, sư phụ. Thanh Tuyết, nhiệm vụ của con là thái khoai tây. Yêu cầu không cao. Mỗi sợi khoai phải thái mỏng như sợi tóc. Hơn nữa, độ dày phải hoàn toàn như nhau. Chỉ cần một sợi khác biệt, món ăn này sẽ bỏ đi. Sư phụ, dùng thanh trảm thiên thần kiếm này để thái khoai tây ư? Sao vậy? Thần kiếm không thể thái rau ư? Đại đạo vạn ngàn. Nhưng ngay cả thái khoai tây cũng không rõ thì làm sao tiêu diệt ma vậy? Sư phụ dạy trí phải, đồ nhi đã chấp tướng. Sư phụ đây là đang dạy ta kiếm tâm thông minh, dẫu trước đây là kiếm hay đạo, trong tâm duy có kiếm đạo, thái khoai tây cũng là trảm thiên đạo.
Trắng rồi, các bạn đấy.
Lần sau nhớ thái mỏng hơn chút. Đa tạ sư phụ chỉ điểm, kiếm ý của đồ nhi lại tinh tiến thêm một bậc. Thích chứ? Đến lượt con. Nhiệm vụ của con là bó hẹ này. Dùng bản mệnh chân đạo của con nên chín chúng. Phải giữ được màu xanh biếc vốn có của chúng, lại còn phải phá chặt toàn bộ thủy phần bên trong. Phải làm được hỏa trung thổ thủy.
Bảo ơi,
Thủy trung thổ ngọc.
cà phê ơi.
Sư phụ, chẳng phải nóng sao? Có thể lấy nước được. Điều này ngươi cũng không rõ sao. Trước hết phải như thế này, rồi lại như thế này, cuối cùng lại như thế này. Đã rõ chưa? Điện tử đã rõ. Đây là âm dương chuyển hóa, thủy hỏa cộng tế. Tiểu sư đệ nói mấy câu là lấy một từ cả giới trong chuyện này. Những thần hỏa chỉ dương được khống chế dễ dàng như nước, nói vô cực thần thông, đạo nhập hết thúc. Đây nó chẳng phải là phản phát huy chân ư? Hương vị này vừa là cô xếp lên cái này đồ nhi. Hãy nếm thử tài nghệ của sư đệ con. Món hẹ này chứa đựng chân lý đại đạo đó. Ngon quá. Đây chính là mùi vị của đại đạo ư? Đây là mùi thì là dùng bữa thôi, dùng bữa thôi. Trên xương này còn chút thịt ngon quá. Thánh tử à, giết khả sát bất khả những thứ này không thể ăn được. Ăn, ta phải ăn. Chỉ cần sống sót. Sống sót mới có hy vọng. Phụ thân ta nhất định sẽ đến cứu ta. Đợi phụ thân ta đến, nhất định sẽ kiếm thêm yêu đặc biệt chết không có đất trôi.
Để ghen.
Sư phụ, thứ màu đỏ này có phải là kẹo hồ lô không? Thứ đang có phải là phải lắc luôn rồi đấy. Có sự rất nặng nữa. Sư phụ, ta vào thành.
Đến kia đấy.
Bảo thay. Đúng vậy, sư phụ, để tự xuống. Hả? Bảo thay chị. Anh biết chơi đâu đấy?
Mất.
Ủa ra đấy.
Bo. Đến kia lấy.
Để nhị đôi chuyện chịu với.
Điện hụt khí lại đôm luôn nghe.
Nhưng quay lỡ hùm luôn qua video lại chạy nè.
Đăng cuốn lúc nào khỏi chẳng giả sát khỏi cần câu chỉnh vợ. Câu thời gian chỉnh nào.
Làm sao luyện đều chẳng thể đạt tới cảnh giới kiếm tâm tiên dung mà sư phụ hằng mong. Ôi, lá rụng này quét mãi sao chẳng hết. Gió thổi về đâu lá rụng về đó. Xem ra làm người cũng vậy, cứ gì cứ phải nghĩ thêm mà đi, thuận theo tự nhiên, chẳng phải cũng tốt làm sao. Gió, nhịp gió, thuận theo tự nhiên. Sư phụ đang chỉ điểm cho ta. Kiếm pháp của ta quá hung mãnh, chỉ một truy cầu sắc bén lại quên mất bản chất của kiếm đạo. Phong vô hình, kiếm vô ảnh, thuận thế mà hành, mới mong người kiếm hợp nhất. Ta đã ngộ ra. Đây là kiếm ý đại viên mãn. Ý thức này, nàng ấy đang đột phá ư?
Nam nhát cao.
Em nghe nằm.
Chẳng phải ta chỉ than vãn mai cô rằng quét dọn mọi đất mà ngươi đã đúng.
Còn tiền tài khoản đâu anh 10 triệu anh.
Còn anh.
Tận cuối tháng nha, cuối tháng anh đưa lại cho.
Ừ.
Rồi, ok.
Over to Indiana.
Alo.
Dạ anh chào anh, em quên bấm hành điểm máy xanh á.
Anh chào em.
Dạ anh gọi thăm tủ lạnh Toshiba ở nhà anh xài được chưa?
Anh thấy tủ lạnh của anh xài hoạt động bình thường rồi đấy em.
Dạ có gì mà cần hỗ trợ Dạ thì bạn báo lại giùm em nha.
Dạ cảm ơn chị nhé.
Cảm ơn nhiều.
Dạ cảm ơn. Cảm ơn chị. Dạ.
Dạ rồi, cảm ơn nhiều. Dạ rồi.
Dạ. Chạy về hả? Nên ngại mày. Ok, dừa bao nhá. Coi luôn. Trời luôn. Không ai chửi mắng thì ta giảng điên. Nè John. 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 Có cái đó. Có đâm chân. Ê. Rồi ba. Có một cái là đâu. Ui. Cây mê hin. Đi ăn. Rồi tại anh được chỉnh ảnh và tập tấm hình hay xí đó. Và tấm hình đấy đẹp anh. Không riêng tới rồi, nhưng không riêng tới nó nè. Hôm nay chụp thầu hả? Chụp thầu từ hơi năn hôm nay. Và của tấm ảnh mai tụi túm lâu anh chỉnh hoa hả?
Chàng trai bị mắc kẹt trong đạo quá rách mát suốt chỉ cần anh giật rút ra đây. Kinh chết. Tên mặt trắng giả thần giả kia ra xe vào chỉ của ta tinh nghệ xông lên băng thẳng hắn ra. Diệt. Nếu ngươi thảm đến vậy, ta cho ngươi một cơ hội. Ngươi hãy đếm đến 3. Được, nếu ngươi có thể chạy vào khu rừng kia, ta sẽ không giết ngươi. Tạ ơn thần tiên, tạ ơn thần tiên, ân không giết. 3. Nổ. Tha cho ngươi. Vậy những kẻ bị ngươi giết, ai sẽ tha cho bọn họ? Tiểu nha đầu, đừng sợ, kẻ xấu đã bị đánh đuổi rồi. Ngươi tên là gì? Ta tên Như Yên. Song thân đều bị kẻ ác sát hại. Thật là một đứa trẻ bằng mệnh. Than ôi, con nhỏ đã mất cha mẹ. Gây sự loạn lạc rồi, để một mình nó ở đây cũng là cái chết. Dù sao thì trong đạo quán cũng chẳng thiếu một đôi đũa này. Đem về cho thiết chủ có bạn bầu. Con muốn theo đại ca về không? Nhà đại ca có rất nhiều món ngon. Hơn nữa đại ca có chẳng ai dám ức hiếp con. Như Yên nguyện ý. Phát hiện, thể chất vạn cổ duy nhất. Hoàng đạo thánh thể, nữ tử khí vận cấp SSSSS, nữ đế tương lai cơ Như Yên. Nhiệm vụ thu đồ đã kích hoạt, thu nữ tử này làm đồ đệ, vô địch lĩnh vực sẽ trực tiếp mở rộng 50 dặm. Và ban thưởng một đạo hoàng đạo long khí. Ban thưởng một bộ hoàng đạo long khí quyết. Vãi tiện, nữ đế tương lai vạn cổ duy nhất. Chẳng phải ta chỉ ra ngoài dạo chơi, tiện tay nhặt được một tiểu nha đầu không ai muốn, lại hóa ra là một nữ đế. Như Yên, từ nay về sau, con là đệ tử thứ 3 của ta. Tu thần, hãy theo vi sư về nhà, sau này tại hạ sẽ không ai dám ức hiếp con. Đại trưởng lão chuẩn bị đến đâu rồi? Bẩm thánh chủ, phàm nhân trong vòng 500 dặm này đều đã bị bắt giữ hoàn tất rồi ạ. Tổng cộng hơn 300 người. Tốt lắm. Tên yêu nhân kia chẳng phải rất bao che sao? Vậy bản tọa muốn xem, đối diện với mấy trăm sinh mạng này, hắn có thể ngồi yên được chăng? Chuyển lệnh xua đuổi đám dân đen này, khiến chúng chạy về hướng đạo quán kia. Bảo cho chúng biết, chỉ khi mấy trăm người kia mới có thể giữ được mạng. Kẻ nào chạy chậm giết. Tuân lệnh. Kẻ nào dám dừng bước, đây chính là kết cục. Đây chính là món đại lễ mà bản tọa dành cho ngươi. Nếu ngươi ra tay cứu, nhược điểm của ngươi sẽ bại lộ. Nếu ngươi không cứu, oán khí của trăm ngàn oan hồn đủ sức làm ô uế đạo tràng của ngươi. Dù thế nào đi nữa, ngươi cũng đã thua rồi. Chúng đồ đệ, mau ra tiếp khách. Ôi không, chúng đồ đệ, mau ra đón. Tiểu sư muội của các con. Chà, tiểu sư muội thật đáng yêu. Sư phụ, cao cho con. Đây không chỉ là dạy nàng nhận mặt chữ mà còn là rèn luyện sự kiên nhẫn của con, cũng là một cách tu hành. Vâng, đệ tử nhất định sẽ tận tâm tận lực dạy tốt tiểu sư muội. Sư phụ, người đang thử thách ta, năng lực thay sư phụ chuyển nghiệp, người đang bồi dưỡng ta, uy tín của một đại sư tỷ. Sư phụ đã tận tâm tận lực, vì ta mà suy tính, ta không thể phụ lòng mong mỏi của người. Còn về pháp môn tu luyện này ư? Thật đơn giản. Tự yên, con hãy nhìn những áng mây trên trời kia.
Nào.
Con giống không? Giống ạ, con cứ mỗi ngày ngắm nhìn những đám mây ấy, tưởng tượng rằng con hít chúng vào bụng, như thể đang ăn kẹo bông vậy. Khi nào con có thể nuốt trọn mây trời, thì công pháp này cũng tự nhiên mà thành vậy. Nuốt mây ư? Đây là pháp môn tu luyện gì vậy? Như Yên Phi nhớ rồi, như Yên phải nuốt mây, phải trở nên mạnh mẽ để bảo vệ sư. Ngoan, đi thôi, con hãy cùng sư tỷ học chữ. Nếu đói thì để sư huynh nuôi, nướng khoai cho ngươi. Ôi chao, ngày tháng này khiến ta phải hao tâm tổn trí. Đi thôi.
Nó ta biết không ạ? Nào ạ? Hả? Ba điểm thế nào nè, kịp ba mắc ôm kịp ba nhầm luôn.
Không ổn rồi. Sư phụ, dưới núi có kẻ đang tàn sát dân lành ngay trước cửa đạo quán của chúng ta. Giết người. Sư tỷ. Sư phụ, người có nghe chăng? Bọn tiểu yêu kia đang sát nhân ngay dưới mắt chúng ta. Đồ nhi không thể nhẫn nhịn đôi tay đi cứu người. Đứng lại. Sư phụ, tính mạng con người là trọng. Con giờ mà xuống đó, ngoài việc tự chuốc họa vào thân, chẳng cứu được ai đâu. Những kẻ bên ngoài kia tu vi cao hơn con gấp trăm lần. Vậy chẳng lẽ ngươi đứng nhìn sao? Đây là địa phận của chúng ta mà. Ai bảo ta chẳng màng? Những việc sơ bẩn nhọc nhằn này vẫn chưa đến lượt ngươi ra tay. Ngươi hãy ở lại đây, bảo hộ tốt các sư đệ sư muội, tiện thể giám sát tiểu sư muội của ngươi luyện công. Vâng, khi vi sư trở về sẽ kiểm tra công phu của các ngươi. Sư phụ, ngươi định đích thân ra tay sao? Có kẻ sống quá lâu rồi, quên mất thế nào là kính sợ. Vi sư đây sẽ đi dạy dỗ bọn chúng đạo lý làm người. Ta muốn mạnh hơn, ta muốn giúp sư phụ diệt trừ kẻ ác. Ta hút. Vãi miệng, không thể nào. Ta chỉ thuận miệng nói vừa vài câu, ngươi lại thật sự không được sao? Đây chính là cái phú cấp anh con ra cho đến vậy sao? Thời buổi này làm sư phụ thật là áp lực quá đỗi. Đệ tử khác, đứa nào cũng quái dị, khiến ta trông thật ngốc nghếch. Tuy nhiên, đã là đệ tử, đều tài giỏi như vậy, làm sư phụ tuyệt đối không thể làm mất mặt. Xem ra, tin tức của thủy thủ trưởng lão không sai, chỉ cần không vượt qua ranh giới ấy. Chỉ cần hắn không bước qua ranh giới ấy, hắn ta chỉ là hổ không răng mà thôi. Nhưng để vẹn toàn, vẫn cần tiếp tục dò xét, xem cực hạn của hắn ở đâu. Chưa bị hộ pháp nghe lệnh thuộc hạ có mặt. Các ngươi hãy tiến đến cách cảng đá xanh kia 100 trượng, rồi áp giải toàn bộ nạn dân đến đó. Các ngươi đều là tu sĩ hóa thần kỳ, ngay trước mặt hắn, ta sẽ bày vạn ma phệ hồn trận. Dù là tu sĩ hợp thể kỳ, cũng có thể một phen giao chiến. Mỗi khi các ngươi bày một trận nhã, hãy giết 10 nạn dân tế cờ. Ta muốn hắn trơ mắt nhìn xem. Thuộc hạ tuân lệnh. Đi đi. Yêu nhân kia, hãy nhìn cho rõ. Đây chính là hậu quả khi địch với thái âm kết trận tế cờ. Trận nhãn thứ nhất, giết. Khoái trá thay, yêu nhân, ngươi chẳng phải rất mạnh mẽ sao? Ngươi chẳng phải thích làm anh hùng sao? Mau đến cứu bọn chúng đi, sao lại chẳng dám xuất hiện? Hay là không thể xuất hiện? Đồ rùa rụt cổ. Các ngươi thật sự quá đỗi vô sỉ. Ồn ào. Nếu ngươi chê ồn, hãy ra đây. Nếu không chịu ra, ta sẽ đoạt mạng tiểu tử này. Ta đến 3 tiếng. Chẳng cần đến nữa. Các ngươi hãy cùng nhau xuống suối vàng đi. Yên diệt. Yên diệt. Thánh chủ, chiêu thức này tuyệt nhiên không phải thủ đoạn của hợp thể cảnh, thậm chí đã vượt qua luyện hư. Những hộ pháp kia đã kết trận rồi. Dẫu cho là đại năng luyện hư sơ kỳ, cũng không thể nào dễ dàng như thế. Trong khoảnh khắc tiêu diệt bọn họ, không thể nào. Bản tọa tu hành 800 năm gặp vô vàn kỳ ngộ, mới miễn cưỡng đạt đến luyện hư đỉnh phong. Hắn ta, một tiểu tử miệng còn hôi sữa, làm sao có thể mạnh hơn bản tọa? Chẳng lẽ hắn là truyền rằng đại thừa kỳ? Dù là sư tôn, huyết ma lão tổ của bản tọa, cũng phải tu luyện mấy ngàn năm mới đạt đến đại thừa kỳ. Thưa thánh chủ, đó là thực sự các thể diện à? Cái này nếu không phải đại thừa kỳ, vậy thì chẳng lẽ người đó là tiên nhân hạ phàm chân tiên ư? Vô lý, chân tiên gì chứ? Trên đời này nào có tiên nhân? Chỉ có một khả năng thôi. Hắn đang mượn lực, hắn đang mượn uy năng của trí bảo vật trên. Thiên giai. Đúng vậy. Nhất định là như thế, nhất định là khoảng cách. Hắn chần chừ không xông tới, chính là vì cố kỵ khoảng cách. Lão phu sẽ tiếp tục dò xét, xem cực hạn của hắn rốt cuộc ở đâu. Thánh chủ anh minh, các ngươi hãy dẫn vài kẻ nạn dân này tiến lên 20 trượng. Thánh chủ, tên yêu nhân kia lời lẽ lắm điều. Kẻ nào dám bất tuân, đây chính là kết cục. Đi, tiếp tục tiến lên phía trước mà giết người, lại bức hắn phải ra tay. Tất cả hãy chạy nhanh lên, bằng không ta sẽ chặt các ngươi tìm chết. Trượng, hắn đã có thể đánh tới đây chàng như tiến 30 trượng, giết hết cho ta. Này, đi mau lên. Sao thế này, chắc chắn không đánh tới đâu, lấy đám dân làng này chút giận vậy. Tiểu tạp chủng. Trượng vẫn còn trong tầm với của hắn. Người đâu, tiếp tục xông lên cho ta. Ta muốn xem thử đôi vuốt cẩu này của hắn rốt cuộc có thể vươn xa đến đâu. súc sinh này quả nhiên đã dò ra được hư thực của ta. Ngươi mau kéo nó lại đây. Tránh ra. Cháu gái của ta. Yêu đạo, hãy nhìn cho rõ. Đây chính là do ngươi hại chết. Các ngươi, hãy ra tay tàn sát bọn dân đen này. Hãy chặt đứt tay chân của chúng, chất thành núi đầu lâu, để thánh chủ vui vẻ. Ca ca, cứu ta. Ngươi cứ kêu gào đi, hãy kêu lớn hơn nữa. Xem có ai đến cứu ngươi chăng? Không ổn, tuy hắn đã dừng lại, nhưng lực của yêu này quá đỗi kinh khủng, thủ đoạn lại càng chưa từng nghe thấy. Vạn nhất hắn có bí pháp yêu mạng, hoặc cưỡng ép đột phá giới hạn. Vì an toàn, vẫn nên cẩn trọng thì hơn. Đại trưởng lão, thiêu đốt thật tốt, cứ từ từ thiêu đốt. Bổn tọa sẽ ở phía sau yểm trợ cho ngươi. Vâng, thánh chủ. Ca ca, cứu ta. Vào lĩnh vực, vào hệ thống. Hôm nay lão tử liều mạng, dù có bị sếp đánh chết, cũng phải diệt sạch lũ tiểu yêu nghiệt này. Cảnh báo, ký chủ sắp rời khỏi vô địch lĩnh vực. Xin hãy lập tức quay về. Đệ tử Cơ Như Yên đã thành công nuốt trọn luồng hoàng đạo long khí đầu tiên. Công pháp đã nhập môn. Vô địch lĩnh vực bắt đầu huyết chương. Phạm vi bao phủ hiện tại là 50 dặm, bao trùm toàn bộ Thanh Vân Thành. Đã ra rồi. Vừa rồi, ngươi cười vui vẻ lắm mà. Ngươi đã ra rồi sao? Phải, ta đã ra rồi. Ngươi có bất ngờ không? Có kinh ngạc không? Đừng lại gần. Vừa rồi, ngươi là to mồm nhất nhỉ? Vừa rồi là tôi sai. Cầu xin ngài tha mạng cho tôi. Nếu ngươi thích chơi với lửa như vậy, ta thành toàn ngươi. Chết ta rồi, chớ vội vàng. Cứ từ từ mà đốt. Vinh đệ ơi, đằng nào cũng chết, cùng hắn liều mạng đi. Hắn dù mạnh cũng chỉ là một người, chúng ta đông người thế mạnh. Cách trận giết hắn đi. Giết, giết, giết. Đông người thì có ích gì sao? Định. Cái gì? Sao có thể như vậy? Ngươi lại đây. Công, ngươi mau buông ta ra. Ta là người của Thái Âm Thánh Địa. Ngươi dám giết ta, thánh chủ sẽ không tha cho ngươi đâu. Thánh chủ, ngươi nói là lão tạm chủ đó sao? Quái vật, mau chạy đi. Về tông môn, thỉnh lão tổ. sao? Sống sót rồi. Đi đi. Ai ra? Đáng tiếc không trúng đầu hắn. Kẻ chủ mưu đã thoát rồi. Xem ra thánh chủ của ngươi không còn đoái hoài đến ngươi nữa.